politics and regulations.
Sure.
How do they affect the housing market and mortgages?
So they can affect it in little ways and big ways. So some of the big impacts that we've had, it tends to be from regulators like the FCA, or that's the Financial Conduct Authority, or the PRA, the Prudential Regulatory Authority, I think PRA stands for. I have to double check that one. But essentially, they can implement things like affordability checks. So they can insist and they can hold the lender to account and make sure the lender does certain things by making them responsible for those things. And if they don't do those things appropriately, they can be fined and they can be punished accordingly. So lenders are very, very hot on those things and they will want to make sure that they're implemented. Now, in the residential market, what that generally means is things like affordability is a very, very clear example of where the regulator has stepped in and said, you need to ensure that your customers can afford this and you need to have a clear model of how you're assessing this. So you have to be able to demonstrate to the regulator how you're assessing this. So every lender has to have that publicly available. That's a great thing.
That's public information, so you can check it out by yourself as well.
So you can do an affordability check yourself. You can't see the mechanics of what they're doing in the background yourself, but you can do the check yourself. So you can see how much every lender is able to lend to you.
And those are the websites. Like when you go to a website of a bank, there's this calculators. Is that what it is?
Precisely. Yeah. So it's how much can you borrow is basically how they all phrase it.
Yeah.
So that's their affordability check. In addition to that, you have government regulation that regulates how properties are sold, how surveys are done to make sure the property is going to be habitable, all those sorts of things. In the buy-to-let space, you have government regulation around, or you have regulation around how a landlord can treat their tenants, and things like the deposit scheme, safe deposit scheme, all those sorts of things are all things that have an impact. One that had quite a significant impact, and I think will continue to have an impact, is in the buy-to-let space. The lenders have to stress test the rental income to make sure that the landlord can afford the mortgage in the event of interest rates rising. That leads to landlords being able to borrow less money. So the landlords have to contribute more to the deposit in order to be able to buy the same property. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So that's like I said earlier, that's one of the primary reasons why I think a lot of landlords will sell, because they won't be able to put down as much money.